Alright, welcome back to another Python video. This is going to be the start of a new playlist where I do different practice problems from time to time, and whether that's just to sharpen up my skills or refresh myself, I always find myself learning something. No matter how easy I may think a problem is, after I do it, I'll look at other people's solutions, especially this one that we're going to talk about because it made me feel stupid, and I end up learning something. So it's always good to do this from time to time, I guess is what I'm getting at. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. That way you don't miss any in the future. And yeah, we just try to learn from each other. Of course, the problems I show on this series aren't going to be the best solutions. Highly unlikely they're going to be the best solutions. But, if you come across a good solution as well, or maybe a clever one, feel free to throw it in the description, and I'd love to check it out. But today I am on a website called CodeSignal, which you can go on right now and create a free account and do these practice problems as well. I want to show you how I went to do this, and it was a lot of overkill and it was a lot of overthinking, and then we'll talk about one of the better solutions. So we have this array that's given to us called statues, and it's just an array of numbers, and we give this person this array, but they have OCD. And they want it sorted from lowest to highest. And then they also want it to be consecutive, meaning if it's missing numbers, like if it goes from 2 to 4, they want to throw in the number 3 in there as well. And what we're returning by this function is how many numbers did we have to add to this list to make it all consecutive. So they give us an example here. We have a statues list. It goes 6, 2, 3, and 8. If we were to sort this, it would be 2, 3, 6, 8. And you notice we're missing the numbers 4, 5, and 7. And so we had to add 3 numbers in order for this list to be complete. And this is what the output's going to be. It's going to be the number 3. And then how I ended up doing it is with a list comprehension. But first, let's talk about just the sorting aspect. And this is where I just threw this in my own IDE because sometimes I like to do this and not use the one on the website so I can actually step through it and see what's going on. So to sort, it's pretty easy. We're just going to say statues is equal to sorted, and we're passing in statues. And this sorts it in ascending order. And if we print this out now, and by the way, this is totally irrelevant because this doesn't even matter, but we'll see why that is here in a second. But if we print this out, we'll see it's now in ascending order 1, 2, 4, 6, 7 versus 1, 2, 6, 4, 7 that I have in this list. And then what I went to do for my solution, I thought, oh, this is really smart. I did it in a really good way. I did this really long and I guess convoluted list comprehension. So really quick, what I did is I just sorted it like we did above, and then I created a new list starting from the very first number in our sorted list, because that's going to be the smallest value, to the very largest number in our sorted list. And it's going to loop through the range of that and create a new list out of it. And I was like, okay, let's take the length of that list that I created newly and subtract the length of the list given to us. And I thought this was a really good solution until I saw some of the other user-submitted solutions. And it got me thinking, I really overthought this problem, because when we're returning just the number of numbers added to make it complete, the sorting doesn't even matter. Who cares if it's sorted? What we can do is we can get the max value, which is going to be the maximum of statues. And let's also get the min value. So that's going to be the minimum of statues. And then if we subtract the min from the max, so the minimum of this list from the maximum of this list, it's going to show us how many numbers are in this new completed list. Doesn't matter if it's sorted, because that's totally irrelevant for the solution of this problem. So if we print max minus min and we run this, that's going to give us 6, because that would be 7 minus 1. 7 being the max, 1 being the minimum. However, that's not entirely true, because if we go ahead and complete this on our own, so we're missing 3, and then we're also missing 5, how many numbers are in this new list? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we actually add 1 to this, that's going to give us the true amount of numbers in the completed list. So that's great. Now we have how many numbers is in the new completed list with all the consecutive numbers. How do we know how many are missing? So if I remove 3 and 5 from this list to make it back to how it was originally, we can now just subtract the length of the new statues list. And maybe it'll end up looking better if I do the +1 at the end, like this. So for me, I went ahead and I sorted it. I made this really long list comprehension where I get different values of the original list to get the min and the maximum when I could have just used the min and max functions. And then I get the length of this new list that I created with the length of the one coming in and try to find the answer that way when I could have just done something simple like this. And now if I run this, remember there are 2 numbers missing from this list to make it complete. If we run it, we now get 2. So there are obviously multiple ways to solve this problem. You can do it my way, which is really long and unnecessary, or you can do it something simple like this. And so if I take this and I copy it, we go back to the code. Let's now just return this. And instead of max, it doesn't know what max is. So let's do statues and then the min function of statues. And let's run these tests and we should get them all successful. And here we go. So yes, my original way worked, but it was very convoluted for what we really needed to do. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this was at least insightful and maybe you learned something from this. And I plan to do many more of these as I go through some of these questions and I find some good ones. And maybe we'll do some live together as well. I think that'll be fun. But thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you in a future video and take care.